She's just gonna read on with you.
She's
said, the last advisory will cue the second entrance, okay? And hopefully I'll time it out. I'm a little rusty because we didn't do it last week. Let's see if I time it out right.
All right, let's do it, Carl. I believe.
Go work, Carl, I believe.
All right, are you ready?
Sure. Make sure you play quietly because the mic's like right there, so we do not need to yell.
I'm not running.
I know. I'm just warning you. This is a lot.
Welcome all, and thank you for joining us to honor the graduates of 2021. I'm Hunter Stonebreaker.
And I'm Ethan Ram, and we will be your Masters of Ceremony this evening.
This year really zoomed by. Our grade has had an interesting high school experience, from multiple administration changes to several grading systems, and well, everything that has happened this past year. However, with the support of our friends, family, and faculty, we persevered, stayed flexible, and the class of 2021 got it done. A huge thank you to everyone who supported us for the past 4 years.
Our class has worked hard to overcome adversity and remain positive, but not in COVID cases, thankfully. Events like the football championship, Fang Fest, prom, and many more helped our class stay together through it all. We have been waiting for this day since freshman year, and it has finally arrived. We will have several guest speakers tonight to talk about our class and everything our grade has accomplished. When it comes time for diplomas, each advisory will be called up alphabetically by the advisor's last name, and each student will come up one by one. Parents, this will be your time to show off those photography skills. With that said, let's get this show on the road. We would like to invite 3 members of our senior class up on stage to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. These 3 have committed themselves to join the armed forces after high school.
Please give a round of applause to Aiden Bearer, John Casey, and Christian Rodas.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, guys. Now would you please rise and remove your hats again for the singing of our national anthem, performed by the seniors and the rest of the concert choir, directed by Kimberly Whitehead.
I'll be right back.
Should we mix for blend?
I'm not being the center by myself.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
As many of you know, the senior project is a requirement for all the seniors to graduate. This year, it was not required due to COVID, but a few determined students decided to continue on the tradition.
This group worked hard all year to create a presentation on a topic they are passionate about. Some explored ways to create a simple video game, create and star in a one-man show, or recreate a garment by hand. Now, here are Miss Kathy Maddock and Mr. Ryan Lemieux to talk about the dedication these students put in.
Given the difficulties posed by the pandemic, participation in Senior Project this year was optional. The following students volunteered to spend countless hours researching, meeting with mentors, meeting with outside experts, writing up their findings, creating original applied pieces, and finally, this spring, presenting their work to a live audience. Congratulations to these intrepid seniors.
As we read your name, if you guys could stand and stay standing till we're done, that would be excellent. Aiden Bear, Henry Bennett, Julia Breckenridge, Zachary Cotter, Elliot Del Signora, Timothy Eccleston, Patrick Forrester, Owen Freites, Nathan Fritz.
Emma Geary, Anna Goyette, Chloe Grund, Alex Karpowicz, Catherine Malley, Noah Malley, Rachel Mazer, Lynn McNamara, Abigail Robinson, and Claire Sullivan.
At the conclusion of the senior projects, these students were asked to write a final reflection. Here are some of their words.
I was so excited to do a senior project. I knew that I wanted to sew a dress from a painting. I just had to choose what dress and what painting. I found a painting in the Brooklyn Museum with an absolutely gorgeous dress, and there was a pet squirrel. I knew as soon as I saw that squirrel, I had to make that dress.
Even when life stood still for me, this project kept me moving.
When I first decided to do my senior project on ceramics, I assumed it would be an artistic one-off, a short-lived, one-time creative endeavor. Instead, I fell in love with the art. Senior project helped me discover a passion I never would have discovered otherwise.
The timeline for the panel meetings was helpful in keeping me accountable, especially when the pandemic has seemingly rendered all our schedules meaningless.
After everything, if I could go back and tell myself one thing before I started this project, it would be one of three things: measure twice, cut once, or don't waste your time on the tiny details, or the wire on 5 volts to select is loose.
It was so nice to have such a great panel that clearly showed interest in my topic. Appreciated the work that I put in this year. I loved every meeting, and even if it was just me nerding out on my topic.
I started my research with the basics of composting. What are the main components? How long does it take? What can it be used for? And I ended with much more scientifically complex processes related to composting. How do the mesophilic and thermophilic aerobic organisms work to break down compost?
As a remote student for most of the year, senior project kept me grounded. Participating in this Souhegan tradition made me feel closer to a place I hadn't stepped foot inside for a long time. Passing a senior project felt like the one truly normal thing about senior year.
It was a unique passion and intention of mine to want to do a full-fledged one-man performance night at school. Souhegan met me more than halfway, giving me the tools necessary to achieve this goal of mine that I was so passionate about. What I think is so significant about this is that Souhegan is not an art school. This school offers any pursuit under the sun to anyone who may be interested. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, Kathy and Ryan. Next up is a student who has put in hard work in her athletics, extracurriculars, and studies. Here is our salutatorian, Anna Goyette.
Go, Anna!
That's a long walk. Hi, everyone. Okay, don't worry. I know that no one likes to listen to a long graduation speech, so I promise to be brief. To the parents, staff, family, and friends, thank you for coming. To my peers, we didn't really have much of a choice, but we wouldn't want to miss this. After a year that could only be described by a string of harsh expletives, our graduation finally seems like we, fingers crossed, are turning the corner. I am fortunate that my entire family is able to come, that we get to graduate together in person and experience something truly together. I think this is the first time this year that our class has been all together in the same place. That is special. When I found out I was the salutatorian for the class of 2021, I was surprised to say the least. But if my friends had taken bets, they could have cleaned up in cash since they were spot on. When I was announced as the salutatorian, there was definitely a large chunk of people that just had no clue what it was, let alone how to pronounce or spell it. Everyone was congratulating me on being the valedictorian or the salutatorian. And maybe they were a little off pronunciation-wise, but they meant well. I actually texted my friend about it, and she just responded, "What the heck is that?" So I told her it was like the Target clearance aisle version of the valedictorian. Something else you may or may not know about me, I was one of this year's Sabre Nation Athletic Award recipients. Not so sure how that happened. Don't get me wrong, I'm honored, but I wasn't aware that I was such a talented athlete. And to the same effect, neither were my parents. In fact, I legitimately thought that they had made a clerical error. I mean, I've never seen any of the other athletes that got awards trip up and down the stairs in one go. I can be a little clumsy. I'm lucky I made it up here without a trip to Denise's office. I'm serious. I fell at least 8 times in one soccer game. One time in front of the goal, my dad had asked my mom, "Did she score?" And my mom just goes, "No, she fell again." Thanks, Mom. Fun fact, I came in dead last for a Nordic state race for skate skiing twice. Like dead last. Everyone else had finished, and in fact, some people were probably packing up to leave. Dead last in 2 different years. So maybe I'm not the greatest at Nordic, but I'm proud of all of my accomplishments and hard work. And you should all be too. Because we have so many athletes going to play a dozen different sports in college. We have students that accumulated over 1,000 hours for community service. We have national merit finalists and students going to Boston University, Holy Cross, UNH, St. Anselm's, and so many fantastic others. Our class is talented. We may be difficult sometimes, but we're pretty smart. And we've grown a lot, all of us. Some made friends with Bert and saw his skydiving video. Some of us started new sports we had never done before, and if you're me, proudly came in last. We have worked so hard for the last 4 years, and we now have the privilege of getting to work more every day for the rest of our lives. Yay. But in all seriousness, enjoy today. We have earned a little bit of celebration. Actually, we've earned a lot of it, like a whole millennium's worth. And in the spirit of a cliche graduation speech, I offer some unoriginal advice reminiscent of a bad 2000s high school movie. Don't stop believing, dream on, and we're all in this together. We're all stars, and we're one more step on the way to making our dreams come true. Congratulations, class of 2021. We're free.
Thank you, Anna.
Now to be serenaded by our choir again. Here they are singing, "I'm Still Standing."
Yeah.
like. Your blood like winter freezes just like ice. And there's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. And if you think this fool could ever win, well look at me, I'm coming back again. Without a taste for love and a simple wing. And you need to know that I'm still standing, you just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, I'm feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Once in a neighborhood I hope to win. You're starting down the road and leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. That if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, I'm feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, I'm picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Never could hope to win. You're starting down the road and leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. Love was just a circus, we'd be a clown by now. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, I'm picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 I'm still standing.
Now that was spicy.
Next up is a man who hasn't been in the Souhegan community for long, but has made all the difference. Mr. Michael, middle name unknown Barry, joined us this year as our new principal. And I would like to think that he had fun.
A lot was thrown at him this year, and he kept up with all of our crazy traditions. He even tried to dress up for Fang Fest. A backwards hat and a graphic tee doesn't quite cut it here, Mike. Hopefully, without a delay, here is our principal, Mike Barry.
Evening. It is a privilege to stand before the class of 2021, faculty and staff, SAU 39 employees, our superintendent, members of the school board, parents, families, community members, and guests as we mark this important milestone and celebrate our school community. As principal, I am grateful to be in a position where I can offer words of congratulations this evening. However, before I begin, I would like to thank the Souhegan community, the parents, the staff, the teachers, the paraprofessionals, the custodians, anyone else I've met that has made my first year such a welcoming experience, or as my advisory calls it, my baby year, a welcoming experience. At Souhegan, we take pride in helping students develop plans that work. We ask you to own your education, create and take opportunities, have pride in what you do, and realize that it's important to be part of something bigger than yourself. This class is made up of individuals who have taken these 4 years as an opportunity to develop into applaudable young adults who are ready to enter the world. Beyond this internal motivation, I see in front of me a class that has been the most consistent element in the Souhegan story over the past 4 years, especially as the world changed in ways we and others were not ready for. Being able to put your head down and work despite what issues might arise is a skill that you, our students, will take with you as you graduate. It is inevitable that you will continue to face challenges. However, the members of this class have shown that when there is a strong work ethic, focus, and determination, outside forces will not impact their course. Class of 2021, you are well aware that at Souhegan, we do not simply teach facts or content. We teach people. We believe how you carry yourself is more important than how high your GPA is. We recognize the ability to learn algebra has a place in your education, but how you treat and interact with people is equally as important. We understand that scoring well on the SAT is important to some, but not all, nor should it be. Tonight, I'm speaking to 172 young people who are confident, genuine, intellectual, and awkwardly socially savvy. Since your freshman year, you have been a class full of talent and potential. This class sets itself apart by being a class of action. It is a class full of natural leaders whose impact and legacy will be seen by future Sabres in the new daily schedule, new championship banners in the gym. In fact, there's a great deal of academic, athletic, artistic, and musically talented individuals walking across this stage and out the gate this evening. You will be missed. Students, I hope you are aware of your potential and what you went through to walk across this stage tonight. Although it has not always been a smooth process, you have grown, and we feel you, the class of 2021, are prepared to accept the responsibility of your own future. With that said, since March of 2020, it may have felt like you were on a delay. All of a sudden, life was frustrating. Life was slow. You couldn't leave the house. Things took longer. Zoom meetings were awkward. You were alone more, and tasks were harder to accomplish. As a result of these circumstances, beyond our control, you missed out on countless moments, not only the obvious like clubs and events, sport games, proms, visiting family, but all the small moments of fun and privileges that take place during your senior year. I spent a lot of time saying I'm sorry. A lot was taken from you this year. However, I encourage you to think about the benefits of the past 16 months. Life is slower. You were forced not to rush around. You had more time to think, more time to converse, more time to plan, more time to reflect. This extended delay has allowed for pause and given us time to appreciate all that we have: our families, our friends, our school, our towns. Although it might be difficult, I encourage you to focus on the silver linings that have revealed themselves, despite feelings of frustration, sadness, or even loss. You are emerging from this time stronger, deeper, more reflective, mature people. You are at an advantage. Not only are you a part of history, you have made this year your own. So, my friends, class of 2021, as the glow of graduating high school fades and your reality sets in, and you are solely responsible for your own journey. I encourage you to recall your time at Souhegan in a favorable light and to draw on it in times when you wonder how to go forward. Your talents will carry you far. Trust me. You don't even know that you don't know. But take from your time here the idea that it is never enough to be satisfied with the status quo. Do not forget that growth requires change, and it will not always be comfortable. As you grow, remember the skills you learned here, how to own everything you do, how to create and take opportunities, and always, always remember that you are part of something bigger than yourselves. As you move on to the next phase of your life, know that we at Souhegan are fortunate to have met you and worked with you. We are proud of you, and we appreciate what you have added to our high school. You will be missed more than you know. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Mike. Next up is one of the biggest smiles you will ever see around campus, and she will never forget to ask how your day is going.
I will never forget that one class where she had us go outside and follow around ants. Here for our faculty address is Jenny Dienick.
Good evening, sunshines. The focus of our attention. Take a moment to look around you at your fellow graduates, your families, and the Souhegan staff. These have been your people. They have seen you in the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I love you. Shift your focus on you and take a moment to ground yourself. Because this evening is about you and all that you have done to make this moment possible. Yes, your family, your friends, and your teachers played a part in helping you along the way. But at the end of the day, you got yourself here through hard work, faith, and resilience. The next step in your career as lifelong learners might seem daunting, scary even. But if anyone can take on the uncertainties and unknowns of the future, it is this group of wonderful human beings. I know this because I have witnessed you navigate challenging moments. Your sophomore year, you were limited in your options for winter session. And yet, you rolled with it. You made it happen, and I, for one, loved every minute of my time with you all in New York City. And then the madness of junior and senior year that were made nearly unbearable by a pandemic. March of 2020 began the eternal nightmare. It was unprecedented and unpredictable. We lived day by day, hour by hour, unsure what the next week would bring. It seemed hopeless and left us feeling helpless. It's nevertheless every day seeing you sitting at your kitchen table or cuddling your cat, or in the case of many of you, still lying in bed in your pajamas, was the best part of my day. Truly. You gave me hope. You gave me purpose. You pushed me to show up and do my best. My memories of this class are all so rich and make my heart so happy. I think I speak for the rest of the faculty and staff when I say that we are so grateful to have been a part of your journey at Souhegan. Unfortunately, we cannot follow you on your next adventure. No matter how much we want to hang on to you, it is time to let you get out into the bigger community and find your place, find your passions, find your new people. We know you will make us, your families, and your community so very proud. You've already made us proud. Not only have you proven your academic and extracurricular excellence, but you have also done so in the face of one of the worst phenomena in any of our lived experiences. COVID stripped you of a normal high school experience. There were no spring sports last year. You didn't get a junior prom. And then this year was almost normal, but not quite, which sort of made it all the harder. Here, normalcy was in our reach, but no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't grasp it. You showed resilience and drive when a time when both qualities were in great shortage. During quarantine, at least at my house, the running joke was that if we were able to get out of bed and put on a real pair of pants, it would be a good day. It was a time of small accomplishments. We had to take it one step at a time and be proud of ourselves when we could mark another day off the calendar. Though I hope you never have to go through another time where walking down the stairs is the peak of your day, I think it is important to remember what lockdown taught us. What I notice most about you all is your perseverance. If you had a setback, you didn't throw up your hands and give up, though maybe you wanted to. You took a deep breath, you put your head down, and plowed forward. That perseverance was inspiring. I know that it was your shining faces that made me look forward to opening Zoom and getting to work. I like the saying, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. We all have mountains to climb that are really actually molehills. I know many of you have heard me say, let's not be dramatic, when you have come to me with a laundry list of would-be disasters. And what I admire about this class is that even though you have your molehills, you're usually able to clamber over them. It may not be pretty, but you get it done. You assess and you adjust. Sometimes it's good to appreciate that you cross those molehills so that you can conquer the true mountains. It is the accumulation of all those little accomplishments that define you, that measure your strength and your courage. And so celebrate you, and most importantly, use those little victories as testament to your resilience and your faith in a better tomorrow. We've covered the past. Now we must turn to what lies in your future. Here's what I hope for the class that never gave up during this everlasting nightmare. Dream big and dream for yourself. It's easy to have a dream. It's more difficult to pursue it. We get wrapped up in what our family wants for us, what society wants for us, what looks best on paper. We will continue to face many obstacles in life. This class has already faced quite a few. So don't create more by putting up barriers for yourself. High school sometimes felt like you were doing things that you really didn't want to, or you were doing them for others. I get that. Sometimes it feels like your dreams have been lost to others' needs and demands. But now you're headed towards being your own boss. It's time to account for the habits and practices you have accumulated and put them to use in the things you want to do, the things you are dreaming about, the things you are perhaps even a little afraid of. It's only you with yourself the rest of your life, friends. So start doing things because they are important to you, valuable to you. Don't wait for the accolades or other people's affirmation and approval. Don't think about the labels or the titles. I'm not saying be careless or dismissive. What I'm saying is take stock of what you want, reflect on your gifts, and then think how you can keep growing and being the person you envision. Do this because you want to do it, because it is your dream, your path, and your future. It has been a privilege and an honor to have watched you grow and mature into the stellar examples of young adults I see in front of me. My children are old enough now where I don't have to drop them off at school anymore, but when I did, I would always leave them with some reminders to think about during their day. And because in some ways I feel like you are all my part-time children, I will leave you with the same message. Be kind and make a difference in all of your interactions. You are on the threshold of your future. Cross that threshold and make yourself proud. Thank you, and I love you dearly.
Thank you, Jenny. Now, to mix things up, here is Highlights from The Lion King, played by the Souhegan Concert Band, directed by Carl Benavides.
Hit it, guys.
Oh, Hyro.
There's not even a read on there. Oh, that's so exciting for me. I know. Yes, sir.
Now that was groovy. Our next speaker is a student that managed to study hard, play sports, and finish at the top of our class.
Here is our valedictorian, Katie Tiso, to give our class a few words of inspiration. Go, Katie!
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Charles Darwin once said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change." I believe that this quote perfectly represents our rather unique senior year. The class of 2021 has experienced what no other high school senior class ever has. Although we encountered many challenges and disappointments throughout the past 2 years, we emerged as stronger and more resilient adults. It was certainly an enormous undertaking to quickly adapt to remote learning, which is a completely different learning style for both students and teachers. But at least we got to learn from our beds, wear pajamas to school, and sleep until 1 minute before class started. Although it was pretty obvious some people were still sleeping during class, myself included. On behalf of the class of 2021, I wish to express my deepest gratitude to the teachers and administrators. They didn't miss a beat throughout the entire pandemic and made sure that we as students learned, even under these very stressful and complex circumstances. Let's give them a well-deserved round of applause. Although quickly pivoting to online learning was difficult, I believe that the biggest challenge we faced during the pandemic was the lockdown. Not knowing what was happening to the world and when we would be returning to normal was extremely unsettling. But we all persevered through these unforeseen and stressful times, learning so much about ourselves and how strong we really are. In our future lives, we will be thrown many curveballs that we will not be expecting, from job loss to relationship issues to health problems. Those who are able to quickly and easily adapt to the never-ending changes that will undoubtedly occur throughout our lives will be the ones that not only survive, but thrive. We are very lucky to have been given the gift of adaptability as high school seniors. I know it is a gift that I will always cherish when I encounter the inevitable bumps on the road of life. Another gift that I will cherish is the support and encouragement from all the people in my life on my journey to becoming valedictorian. I'd like to thank the people who have most inspired and influenced my life. My mom, my dad, my big brothers Danny and Nick, my auntie, and my grandma. You have all played a crucial role in shaping me into the person I am today, and you're all very special to me. I would also like to thank all of my teachers who have supported me on my journey through the Amherst schools, from first grade to senior year. There are way too many to name, but I'd like to give a special shout out to Jenny Dienick, who nurtured my love of science and opened my eyes to the possibility of a career in the STEM field. As we sit here today, about to embark on the next exciting chapter of our lives, it is important to take a moment to reflect. We are so lucky to be here today with all the love and support from those who surround us at our graduation ceremony. It has been a long and challenging road, but we not only survived, we thrived. Congratulations, class of 2021. We did it.
Thanks, Katie. Our next speaker is not necessarily always at the school, but he plays a huge role in our community.
Now here's the man who brings us our snow days,
Cheers us on at sporting events,
and makes all the calls.
Our superintendent, Mr. Adam Steele.
Get it out. Hey, you guys have time. I want you to know that in your life, you have got time. And it may not feel like it because you've been asked hundreds of times, what's your plan? What are you doing next year? What's your life goal? Because we've established as a society that there's expectations. You leave us at 18, 4 years later, you're ready to start contributing to society, right? But I want to reassure you today that you have got more time than you may realize to figure it out. Let's go back a few years. 4 years ago, June 17th, 2017, you were right across that parking lot graduating from Amherst Middle School's 8th graders. Most of you were there that day. Some of you may know there was a competition going on between the boys and the girls. Delaney and I were keeping track of who wore more of the same outfit, Lily Pulitzer versus Vineyard Vines. 4 years ago, I think the boys won. But if you could on that day back in 8th grade, if you could have given yourself advice about high school, what advice would you have given yourself? But more importantly, if there was a Souhegan graduate from 2017 and they spoke at your graduation and they gave you advice, would you have listened? Would it have helped your high school career to know from someone who just went down the path the things to avoid, the things to focus on, and the things not to worry about? One of the most significant challenges we have in life is being able to learn from those who've gone down the path before us while still being able to distinguish their value system from our own. What I mean is, what would have happened a few years ago if it was your parents who started tucking sweatpants into socks? Have any of you ever taken fashion advice from your parents? Probably not. You're probably also not very impressed with NSYNC, Jay-Z, Aerosmith, or Air Supply. You're probably not all that excited for Top Gun 2 to come out next month. You probably don't listen to the U2 channel on Sirius XM or reruns of Seinfeld. You didn't watch Saved by the Bell or Beverly Hills 90210. But before long, I want you to know, you're also going to get made fun of for the jeans that you wear. Your skinny jeans, your mom jeans, your ripped jeans. Whatever jeans you wear, you're going to get made fun of just like we get made fun of for ours. Before long, the younger generation's not going to respect the rap games of people I had to Google, like Lil TJ, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Pooh Shiesty, or Drake. Don't know if I said those right or not. You guys will correct me later. In fact, while you've pretty much always been too young to do things, I've got really sad news. You're coming close to that point when you're too old to be cool. The window's closing, I promise. So, is it possible to learn from those who went down the path before you without having to adapt their life choices as your own? So, there's going to be some moments like this where we think about our lives and we really reflect on the things that we've done so far that have gotten to us to these major moments. There's going to be a college graduation for many of you. That's not going to feel as emotional as this one probably, but there's going to be even more pressure about what's next. There's going to be days where you get married. That's going to be a lot more fun on that day. And maybe even days where some of you have children, and that's going to be a lot more emotional and tiring. But I want to tell you that on those days, it's really not the event that matters. You guys know, you may not know this, but we signed your diplomas months ago. There was almost nothing you people could have done to not make it to this day here today. So, although you're here and this ceremony feels very important, it really should be just a chance where you should reflect on the choices you've made, the victories you've won, the defeats you've experienced, and what you can do about what's next in your life. Quick shout out for a victory on the football field against Plymouth. I appreciate that. Good day. I'm still upset about field hockey at Kennett. I'm not over that yet. Next year, though. I want you to know you've got some time to figure out these life decisions. And although this moment is important, it's not the last one, and you've got time to get it right. You've got time to go down the wrong path and back up and go down the right path. You've got time in your life to make some mistakes, own them, figure it out, and learn from them. You've even got time to go down the wrong career path and realize it's time to shift later on. If you ask your parents or your family members how many of them at 18 are still on the same path that they decided back then, today, you'll find the answer is not many of us are on that same path. Believe it or not, I didn't go to summer camp to learn how to be a superintendent when I was a kid. Yeah, there were no classes on how to deal with angry parents or how to navigate the Facebook page. But anyway, the reality is that I want you to know you probably got to about 100 years of age. If you look it up, demographers expect most of you to make it to live to 100 years of age. So you've got a lot of time. So what I want to suggest to you is that you use that time to figure out the intersection of what you're passionate about, what you're naturally good at, and what the world needs. All right, bear with me. The things that you're passionate about are those things that when you get up in the morning, you can't wait to tackle whatever that thing is. I'm going to give you a hint, it probably wasn't school. But those passions, you know what they are. They're burned into you as a person, and you've developed them and you've experienced some of those things during your time probably in high school. Find out what your passions are and experience those things. But then also intersect that with what you're naturally good at. Just because you're really passionate about something doesn't mean you're good at it. And finally, you got to figure out it's something that the world needs, because there's lots of things that we're good at, we're passionate about, and the world doesn't need more of them. And so your job over this time that you have, this gift of time that you're going to have in your life, is to find that nexus where those three things intersect, and then to invest your life's work into that thing. Great example of this, Taylor Swift. She's pretty good at something. She's got a passion for it, and the world needs more of her music, allegedly, right? She pumps out albums, like every couple of months there's another one, and she doesn't need more money, she doesn't need more fame or notoriety, but she's living out her life's best work. You all can do that as well. It's so important to go through this for something that I call the Tuesday rule. So the Tuesday rule is there are lots of Friday nights, Saturday nights, and fun things to do on weekends. But there are a lot of Tuesdays in life too. And if you don't get up in the morning on a Tuesday excited about what your life's work is, you're on the wrong path. Back up, find another way to go down a different path where you get excited about what Tuesday looks like. You'll be surprised to know how many people over this past year have told me, geez, I'm glad I don't have your job. Or, man, you must really not like your life right now. It is harsh. But I want to tell you something. I've loved this past year. Despite the challenges, I believe that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in life. And so although it's been difficult, there have not been very many days where I've questioned, am I on the right path or not? And it took me into my 30s to figure out where that intersection was, until someone described that process to me and forced me to go down that road and think about, what are you passionate about, what are you naturally good at, and what does the world need? I almost joined the FBI in my 20s. I almost joined the Navy in my early 30s, and it wasn't until I was able to go through this thought exercise to figure out that being the superintendent of a school system is where I should invest my life and invest my life's work. I really want that for all of you. I really want you, over the course of these next years and decades, to go through that process of figuring out for yourself, where should I invest my life's work? And to know that you may not know now, and that's okay. There's a reason why, as a young person, your limbic system's fully developed, your prefrontal cortex is not. And all that means in plain English is you know how to try new things and not really worry about the long-term consequences. You're designed that way on purpose to help you figure out what are the things that I am passionate about and what are the things that I am good at. The final thing is I want you to be aware of the inverse paradigm of decision making. And what I really mean by that is sometimes your parents are right. And if you always do the opposite of what your parents want you to do, then who is really making the choice for your life? If you think about that, if you're encouraged to go down a certain pathway and you refuse to go down that pathway just because it's suggested by someone you don't want to be like or you don't want to have control over your life, and you discount that in your life and that decision is taken off the table, you've really given up your autonomy as a person. You've really given up the free choice that you have to figure your life out. And so despite your parents' fashion choices, you can still learn something from them. Despite the movies and the TV shows and the music that your parents listen to, you can still learn some things from them. It doesn't mean you're going to become like them, but a little secret, you kind of will. All right, let's get this done. Enough speeches. Let's get to these diplomas. So, as your superintendent, you need to know that I'm proud of the people you've become. I've learned things from you. I've celebrated your victories and suffered in your defeats, but as you leave here, remember, you have time. Use that time to realize what you're passionate about, to ferret out your natural abilities, and to figure out what the world needs. May your Tuesdays be great. And now, I declare you have met all the graduation requirements for the state of New Hampshire and for the Souhegan Cooperative School District. Congratulations.
Thank you, Adam. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now the moment you have all been waiting for.
Our concert choir and a cappella group singing Standing in the Light.
Stand in the light and be seen as we are. Didn't I tell you I hear what you say? Never look back as you're walking away. Carry the music, the memories, and keep them inside. Laugh every day. Don't stop those tears from falling down. This is who I am inside. This is who I am. I'm not gonna hide. 'Cause the greatest risk we'll ever take is by far to stand in the light and be seen as we are. To stand in the light and be seen as we are. With courage and kindness, hold on to your faith. You get what you give, and it's never too late to reach for the branch and climb up, leaving sadness behind you. Fight hard for love. We can never give enough. This is who I am inside. This is who I am. I'm not gonna hide.
Thank you, Riley. That was lovely. But now, it's time to get serious.
Parents, grab your tissues and get your cameras ready. Here to present our diplomas are Mr. Pim Gronstra of the Souhegan School Board, Mr. Adam Steele, Superintendent, and Ms. Kelly Driscoll, Dean of Students, and Mr. Mike Berry, Principal. And as Mike presents each graduate with their diploma, they will give him a gift, as it is our tradition at Souhegan. Over the years, Souhegan seniors have gifted principals a wide variety of things, from neckties to Post-its. This year, each senior will present Mike with a Jenga block bearing their signature. As we all know, in the game of Jenga, the structure is strongest when all the pieces are together. But the reality of Jenga is that the integrity of the structure can be maintained when pieces are removed, which we experienced this year through hybrid learning and COVID restrictions that prevented us from all being together in the ways we traditionally are. Mike has worked hard to keep the integrity of our structure, and we hope these blocks are a reminder of the integral part the class of 2021 played.
And here are diplomas.
Good evening, class of 2021. We arrived at Souhegan together. So I think it's fitting and it is my honor to be able to announce and pronounce each one of your names. I would like to welcome to the stage the advisory of Mike Berry and Kim Omenson. Molly Ashlyn Atkinson. Porter Merlin Bauhis. Sophia Elsie M.B. Clay. Georgia Claire Craven. Ethan Robert Ram. Amanda Nadine Sank. Catherine Alexandria Stewart Vale. Oliver Thomas Toy. Paul Italo Tombi. Welcome to the stage, the advisory of Sarah Barbado. Isabella Barbara Calton. Elliot David Del Signore. Delaney Arlene Fox. Nathan Wheeler Fritz. Philip Maxwell Hogan. Madison Rose Lamar. Kelly Elizabeth Mahoney. Allison Elizabeth McCall. Taryn Olivia Quinlan. Hunter Jade Stonebreaker. We now welcome to the stage the advisory of Kelly Braley. Jesse James Green. Daniel Douglas Benjamin. Carissa Patrice Bryant. Jake Matthew Civillo. Abigail Christine Kennard. Owen Doherty Freights. Julianne Grace Hazen. Tyler Nicholas Moran. Garrett Lee Smith. Casey Lee Wilson. We welcome to the stage the advisory of Chris Brooks. Aiden James Bear. John McLeod Casey, presented by his mother, Susan. Juliana Cintron Ortiz. Braden Paxton Folks. Anna Stewart Goyette. Chloe Marie Grund, presented by her mother, Stephanie. Sophia Angelica Lunati. Catherine Theodora Maley. Shay Patrick Patterson. David Michael Reith II. Kenneth Michael Roundtree. We now welcome Nathan Carl and his advisory. Henry Harrison Yingling Bennett. Ian Matthew Buckholtz. Camilla Isabella Eaton. Emma Mackenzie Geary. James Alexander Levesque. Ryan Nicholas McCarthy. Sebastian Christopher Parker Christo. Ava Christine Van Balagoyen. Bracken Robert Williams, presented by his mother, Jody. We now welcome Sue Downer and her advisory. Megan Elizabeth Cotter. Emily Page Drake. Patrick Daniel Forster. Abigail Elise Hawks, presented by her mother, Carolyn. Dexter James Healy. Molly Ann Jennings. Aiden Reese Martin. Garrett Milton Robinson, presented by his mother, Jama. Elena Michelle Zofka. Welcome Steve Dreher and his advisory. Ryan Dobson Charest. Melody Flanders. Caden Rayshon Florence. Jack Ryan Forstall. Alexis Madison Jordan Pettis. Margot Sophia Mans. Jacob Matthew Morissette. Daniel Locke Kwan.
Is Benjamin not here? Did I not do Benjamin? Or were they out of order?
Benjamin Paul Neerman. Emma Nicole Schmidt. Please welcome the advisory of Phil Estabrook and Kate Ledoux. Ashley Grace Alberding. Madeline Elizabeth Arnold. William Cecil Boyle. Timothy Greg Eccleston. Kiriana Eve Angelique Fairbanks. Avery Ann Caravis, presented by her mother, Erin. Ethan Lucas Eugen Lim. Lynn Beth McNamara. Mason James Silk. Please welcome the advisory of Lee Gast. Edward James Belter, presented by his mother, Marie. Nicholas Evan Bjorgen. Emma Elizabeth Brown. Miles Moz Drum. Dawson Smith Homilay. Olivia Liliana Prescott. Anna Catherine Price. Carter Rose Riggins. Abigail Grace Robinson. We now welcome the advisory of Amy Gibbons and Tracy Cody. Elliot Beach Enriquez. Carolyn Grace Horner. Casey Mary Leonard. Vincent Joseph Lupoli, III. Marguerite Leanne Maloon. Rachel Jean Mazer, presented by her mother, Lisa. Austin Matthew Hines Polio. Connor Patrick Reardon. Connor Alexander Ross. Aiden Daniel Wilson. Please welcome the advisory of Liz Goslin. Jillian Marie Boucher. Reese Flynn Colby, presented by his mother, Julie. Margaret Ann Conway. Nicholas Alexander Giannakopoulos. Noah Warren Maley. Luke Patrick Manning. Caroline Grace Paracelli. Michael Carl Rada III. Brady Thomas Rudolph. Genevieve Diane Steenhook. Adriana Ruth Zlotnick. Welcome the advisory of Jen Heward and Wendy True. Hannah Victoria Carroll. Gabriella Rose Goulet. Austin Cole Jane. Lincoln Guard Louis Esquire. Riley Faith McNeil. Samuel Vincent Newell. Claire Patricia Sullivan. Finn John Severson. Simon Michael Trombley. Welcome the advisory of Ryan Lemieux and Tara Pompeo. Jenna Rose Brajoli. Riley David Lawhorn. Natalie Marie Patnod. Nev Judith Quinn, presented by her mother, Kirsten. Andrew Davis Rowe, Jr. Monique Marie Simoneau. Jackson David Weisberg. Matthew Holt Wharton. Nicholas James Wilson. Please welcome the advisory of Kathy Maddock and Robin Bauquet. Molly Catherine Archambault. Mona Ann Blake. Paige Serafina Colby. Hiram Gregory Coleman. Zachary Bond Cotter. Nathan Francisco Hernandez. Alex Andrew Karpowicz. Evan Raymond Swenson. Gabriella Christine Toledo. Welcome the advisory of Joanne McDeed and Holly Tate. Emery Bachon. Olivia Lynn Buersdorf. Bailey Elizabeth Burke. Ezra Wakefield Darling. Emma Teresa Hudson. Annabelle Jane LeBlanc. William Callahan Leveroni. Spencer Stanley Newsham, presented by his mother, Cheryl. Christian Luis Rodas. Allison Marie Schriever. Aiden Matthew Balulik. Please welcome the advisory of Amy Pham. Evelyn Foster Dowd, presented by her father, John. Danny Dupuy. Sam Franklin Haig. Ethan John Littlefield. Emma Grace Lowry. Michael Arthur Maroon. Ethan Robert McPhee. Juliet Elizabeth Refuse. Hannah Catherine Rodellinis. Jason Michael Riggins. Eva Madeline Stein. Welcome the advisory of Leslie Rendell and Seth Window. Julia Page Breckenridge. Michael Dean Dodge. Abigail Rose Franklin. Connor Patrick Holland. Peter James Lennox. Alexander James Lynn. Brooke Lynn Marchand. Nicole Elizabeth O'Rourke. Aiden Patrick Ryan. Catherine Lauren Tiso. Congratulations.
We did it. But there's one more thing we still need to do in order to make it official. This is the true speech we have all been waiting for.
Now we have the man, the myth, the legend, Hiram Coleman.
Are we ready to go now? You guys want to be done? All right, let's go. Good evening, Souhegan class of 2021. I know we're all very excited, as we all just heard, to be done with high school and take the next steps in our lives. However, rather than looking forward, I'd like to take a couple minutes to look back and reflect on all of our academic careers. For just a moment, I'd like to take everyone across the power lines to AMS. Middle school brought many great memories that only our grade could achieve. We all banded together to be as obnoxious as possible to our 8th grade teachers. And somehow, in that same year, we managed to get bottle flipping, fidget spinners, and the phrase "thank you" banned. If there's one thing we've always been good at, it's collective action. A great example of this comes from none other than this year. One of the Souhegan Six says that you must be on time to fulfill your daily commitments. And boy, did we really mess this one up. As the year went on, everyone kept getting later and later. I vividly remember arriving at school at 7:15 to find myself in an empty parking lot and furthermore, an empty classroom. We all collectively decided that rather than starting at 7:25, school would start at 7:30. Can't change my mind. What are our teachers gonna do about it? We weren't there. Rather, we were all lined up on Boston Post Road waiting to get in. For some reason, we also had a weird infatuation with walls. In freshman year, somehow, a mysterious wall appeared in the 9A wing. A mysterious hole in the wall, excuse me very much. And in junior year, some people built a shrine in the walls underneath the stairs in the annex. Those all gave me a lot to think about. That's not to say it's all been fun and games, though. As a grade, we've been through a lot. Obviously, there was the global pandemic, but that's cheating. It's cheating to use that. No, we've had challenges since our freshman year. We've had, and you can count them over our 4 years, 4 grading systems, 3 different principals, a whole shift in administration, and spray paint was also an issue for some reason. We've also lost some faculty favorites to retirement or other schools. Shout out to Coach B, Youngie, Scotty, Kathleen, and Rob Scully. While these past years have been difficult, I believe they have brought all of us closer together. It's been my experience that you're all so supportive of each other. Everyone in ethics was able to write and share fantastic personal treatises because of the positive environment to do it in. And that environment was only possible because of this grade as a whole. We've also had our moments where we've argued, but nothing has entertained me more while procrastinating during my free periods than reading the grade group me. So thank you for that too. I'd like to end with a list of things only this class knows about. For starters, Corin Moore. That's right. We're the last class to have experienced it. Corin Moore dies with us. Our class forums. Sometimes I wish I could forget what happens inside those walls, but I am cursed with that knowledge. So Ethan, Georgia, Ollie, and everyone else, thank you for trying to contain the chaos. We're also the only grade that's going to have missed a prom. Senior prom happened last year and junior prom happened this year, but unfortunately, we missed ours last year. We recovered though, we were cool. And finally, the utter embarrassment that comes from being the grade who got golf carts banned at FangFest because of the incident. Ollie's looking very handsome tonight regardless. And now, the time has come. Remember, you're all part of the class of 2021. No matter what you're doing next year, it will be great because you are a part of it. Now, without any delays, will you all please rise? Now do as I do and take your tassel from the right and move it to the left. Congratulations, class of 2021. You have all just graduated.